Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the Pi Theta Epsilon initiation ceremony. All of my fellow Pi Theta members, you may be seated. For our welcoming remarks, I'd like to welcome Dr. Karen Pardue. She's the Dean of the Westbrook College of Health Professions here at UNE. She's a nurse by her background, and she brings many years of academic nursing leadership to this role. Her expertise in this area is of curriculum design and assessment, specialty accreditation, and faculty development. Her research focuses on academic leadership in nursing and higher education, as well as interprofessional education, curriculum development, and evaluation. Dean Pardue has published and presented widely on educational innovation and IPE. She was inducted as a fellow in the Academy of Nursing Education in 2007. She has been engaged in federally funded grant projects from the Health Resources and Services Administration, focusing on the development and evaluation of interprofessional education models and public health nursing leadership. Please welcome Dean Karen Pardue.
Thank you very much, Lauren, and welcome. I am Karen Pardue, the Dean of the Westbrook College of Health Professions, and I am so happy to welcome all of you here tonight to the Portland campus for the special event of the Pi Theta Epsilon Honor Society. I thought induction, but the word, I guess, is initiation. Perhaps in light of our earlier events, we might call this the red glow, as suggested by Dr. Kate Lucas, because this was an interesting way to start our evening. Tonight's an important night for the University of New England's occupational therapy program, the faculty, the professional staff, and our students. And it certainly is a proud and exciting night for families, spouses, children, friends that can join us here, and for those of you that are watching us live stream. As you know, I'm a nurse by my background, so I did a little research on Pi Theta Epsilon, and I learned that the mission of Pi Theta Epsilon is to support the practice of occupational sciences and the practice of authentic occupational therapy by promoting research, leadership, and scholarly activities. To those of you being inducted into an honor society is indeed a mark of distinction. Membership in an honor society denotes your superior academic achievement along with evidence of leadership in your discipline. An honor society is an outward and visible recognition of excellence amongst your faculty and peers. Being an honor society inductee is a significant collegiate accomplishment. It's a testament to your persistence and your dedication in the study and practice of occupational therapy. I congratulate each one of you being inducted tonight, along with your faculty who have successfully served as your teachers, your mentors, and your guides along the way. I'm so pleased to be here, and I look forward to tonight's ceremony. Thank you for inviting me to give the welcoming.
Hello, I'm Kate Lucas, and I'm proud to be the advisor of the Pi Theta Epsilon chapter of the University of New England. And as faculty advisor of the Alpha Psi chapter of the Pi Theta Epsilon Honorary Society, it's my pleasure to welcome students. If you want to wave, students in the... Yeah, there you go. We're making it a more friendly ceremony here. Students' family, special guests, I don't know who all that is. Faculty, I would like to honor faculty. Would you stand? Would faculty stand? And thank you for coming. And staff to our 2019 initiation ceremony for our newest members. I'd like to begin by introducing our dedicated Pi Theta Epsilon officers. President Lauren Bartholomew. Vice President Erica White. Secretary Allison Sillen. and Treasurer Hannah Coleus. These students and other Pi Theta Epsilon members have done a tremendous job planning this induction ceremony. I also would like to introduce our newest officers, and you will meet them as they are inducted. Our incoming president is Lily Noble-Groshin. Groshin? I said that right. Vice President Caitlin O'Connell. Secretary Siobhan McConnell. And Treasurer Kylie Copeland. And I will say to you new officers, pay attention tonight because this is you next year. And I will turn it over to our Secretary Allison to introduce our guest speaker.
And now I have the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker tonight. She is the founder of UNE's chapter of Pi Theta Epsilon, and we are very lucky to have this person continue to support and teach us throughout her retirement. Please give a warm welcome to Nancy McCrae, Professor Emeritus.
Thank you. I'm really pleased to be here, and I was pleased to be asked by Lauren to be the guest speaker. And I said, what do you want me to talk about? And she said, oh, the history. And I thought, oh, okay. I'll talk about the history, but of course I'm going to add some inspirational words at the end. I'm really pleased to be here to celebrate, and I don't know that we always do enough celebrations, but to celebrate the accomplishments of these wonderful young men and women, and acknowledgement of your academic success and engagement in the graduate program. This is the third time I've spoken to the group, believe it or not, of new PTE, and that's what Pi Theta Epsilon, I'm going to be using PTE. I'll borrow some of my inspirational words from each presentation as I think they still remain germane. Pi Theta Epsilon was begun in 1958 at the University of New Hampshire, where I graduated a few years later with a bachelor's in OT. And at that point, you could get a bachelor's in OT. In 1987, ASCOTA, which is the student group of the Occupational Therapy Association, achieved the standards required by ACHH. And that's another set of words, but it's really just the American College Honor Society all over the country. And that's something that if you really wanted to be legitimate, you had to belong to that. PTE functions under these standards today, so they've lasted for a long time. In 1988, the student group asked our foundation, AOTF, the Foundation of the American Occupational Therapy Association, to sponsor this group. This was seen as an opportunity to lay groundwork for future scholars and the Academy of Research members. And if you heard what Dean Pardue said, you realize that we are really into scholarship and mentoring. So it was seen as very appropriate for them to do this. The bylaws from the foundation were amended to include the president of the PTE as a voting member of the foundation's board of directors. And that was a big deal also because then there was student representation, which there should have been all along, but they rectified it. UNE's history with this organization began in 1994 when I initiated our chapter, Alpha Psi. Since that time, there have been 271 members and will initiate another 16 tonight. During that time span, we have weathered the transition to a master's degree with 1 year where there was no initiation of new members, and we've also added a new faculty facilitator, Dr. Lucas, at the 20-year anniversary of our chapter. An annual project was done each year, from written contests for monies for course books. We started off that way. Students had to write a short essay, and then the essay, we had a number of objective people read the essay, and if they won, they got $500 for books, which was, we thought, pretty good for a small group. We've also had book sales, and then an occupation auction. And this is an auction where we have people donate things that are meaningful occupations to them. For me, it would be basketry. I really like basketry. It's very meaningful to me. I really feel a connection to the earliest people that were making baskets. Some people will donate baked goods. Some people will donate jewelry, things that are very meaningful to them that are occupations. Money was raised at this auction, was raised and donated to worthy groups, ranging from a camp for disabled children to the Foundation's research division. Last year, upon my retirement, I was pleasantly surprised with the name change for the auction to the Macrae Occupation Auction. So I think I'll be continuing to do basketry. The graduates have gone on to make contributions, and they have been significant, and I'm sure I haven't covered them all here, but many have gone on to gain doctorates, assume leadership positions not only in state but also national organizations, and remain current for best practice. I also know a number of them have contributed by writing scholarly articles. The symbols of PTE are worthy of some attention. Lee, if you would go to the next slide, please. Oh, I have my clicker, I forgot. Okay, this is a logo, which many think of as a caduceus, but it really is not. It's really the staff of Esculapius, and I don't know that I'm saying that correctly, but he was the Greek god of medicine. The serpents entwined around the wand are regarded as sacred and possessing the power of life renewal and thus healing, which I think is really interesting to note. The wand is surrounded by two hands, which are very symbolic for us. They reflect age, they display effort, they can exhibit the symptoms of disease, and they also give shape to creativity. Additionally, our society views a handshake as symbolic of an agreement. Applauding hands indicate pleasure and/or approval of a performance. Hands communicate via gestures when words cannot suffice. Hands greet, steady, support, help accentuate a speaker's point, and display intimacy and love. And we probably could go on from there, but hands are very symbolic. And if you think about what you do on a daily basis, and here I am using my hands, you realize that hands really are very important. They're crucial for OT's involvement in meaningful tasks or occupations, as they are often the way we as practitioners help our clients regain their daily occupations. They can aid one to become re-engaged in life, to feel valued and worthwhile, and to continue to make contributions. Other symbols for the organization are the original gold, and we used to have, and I meant to bring it and I forgot, we used to have a gold hood, and then we've switched now to this gold and blue and cord, and you'll get, they'll wear this when they go through the commencement ceremony. This color is also continued with the yellow roses, which you can see lined up on the table, which are always a part of the ceremony. Yellow's meaning is often portrayed as honor, loyalty, intelligence, energy, positivity, and clarity. This ends the historic part of my speech. Now I get to the part that I probably will enjoy a little bit more, and hopefully you will too. I have used the symbols, and let's see, actually, I missed out on a couple of my slides. I got so involved. You can see there what I just talked about. Okay, here we go. All right. I have to be patient, and I'm not very patient. So what I've done is I've used pi theta epsilon, and I'm going to hopefully inspire you with what I think some of those words mean, and I'm sure you all could come up with many more comments. But first of all, I think P is for professionalism, and I think our students are known for their professionalism. It's commented on when they go out and do their field work, and we just train them to be real professionals, and I've been very proud to be a UNE faculty member because of that. The next one, let's see if I can do this right, is I, and that is for inspiring confidence and hope and being innovative, both of which are very important. The clients that we see are often in a funk because they've just had some kind of serious mishap, and they need to realize that there's hope that they can improve and maybe not get to where they were before, but at least get to the point where they can do the things that they need and want to do. Now we're going to go to Theta, all right, theory development, and that becomes very important. Occupational therapy is really guided by the parameters of theory. We need to be able to explain why we do what we do, and we need to also be able to justify it for reimbursers. H is for heating history, which we've just kind of done. Hands, which I've talked about a lot, and heart. We're all, we teach our students a lot of very academic kinds of things, but we also train them in communication and really connecting and being empathic with our clients. So heart is important. E is for ethical practice, and I just mentioned the word empathy. We need to be able to practice ethically for sure. We have another T, and that's for trust and being trustworthy. That becomes very important with the relationship that practitioners develop with their clients. You need to be trustworthy. Teaching others to lead and advocate via example also becomes very important. And this is something this class is learning, the soon-to-be graduated class is learning about the need for leadership and advocacy for our profession. A, you need to act responsibly and be authentic. And you heard Dr. Pardue talk about the word authentic was in there also, and I just think that's a wonderful way to describe it. We want our practitioners to be knowledgeable, but we also want them to be authentic. And if you're not authentic, I think clients discern that immediately, and you may not get to the trusting point. All right, now we're into Epsilon. E is for evidence-based practice, and this is something that all disciplines are really concentrating on now. You need to be able to say, we are going to suggest that you do this because of this kind of evidence. You need to be able to justify. The next P is for person-centered. We are very client-centered. We want to have a relationship with the client, and we want to be able to be doing with them what they want to do, what they want to have their outcomes be. S is for stories of clients, and really the stories of clients really are what I think pull us into the client, knowing what's going on in their life, what they want to have go on in their life, and really using that when you develop your intervention plan. The stories just become very important. And also scholarship. I couldn't have an S without mentioning scholarship because of the Honor Society. That's going on. We need to be able to respect and trust and work with other disciplines so that we have the client covered completely. And the client can get the best result. The next one is L, and that's for active listening. If you're going to hear stories from the clients, you need to be able to actively listen so that you can figure out what's going on with them, what motivates them. That becomes very important, and that sometimes means being very quiet and listening and not talking above them. Lifelong learning becomes very important because by the time you've been out for a year, everything may have changed. Who knows? Things are going on so quickly. And anybody who knows me knows I'm going to use O for occupation. That's what makes us unique. Nobody else, no other profession or discipline uses occupation. And it sounds very mundane, but it really becomes very complicated. If any of you have had a broken arm or a leg, or been in an accident, or had a stroke, you know that you've taken for granted the things that you do each and every day. And occupational therapists will help you regain those kinds of skills. And occupation is just what makes us unique. And finally, the last one is N. And I think this is very important, and I say this for both the old PTE and the soon-to-be PTE members, is that you need to nurture yourself. You need to take care of yourself. If you don't
you'll get what I call, and the students appreciate, crispy, and we don't want you to get crispy. We want you to maintain a balance in your life, and really take care of yourself, because if you don't, you can't give the best to your client. When you're nurturing yourself, you can nurture your client. So that becomes very important. Finally, I'm going to give you a bit from the second speech that I gave to Pi Theta. In an article I wrote entitled Recipe for Change, and those students who know me, this group over here, know that I like to bake, and I like to bring in goodies for the students. I like it because I start it, I finish it, and I give them the calories, right? It really works out well. I used the metaphor of baking with a recipe and then went on to list the ingredients. They included self-knowledge, and I am very aware that students leave here knowing themselves much, much better than when they entered. Honesty, occupation, reflection, choice, risks, and relationships. These ingredients were leavened with humor and optimism, seasoned with playfulness and spontaneity, and bound together with spirituality. Of course, they had to be expanded and changed with time, but core to a recipe for change, which you will encounter at an unprecedented rate, is meaningfulness, and this is always attached to occupation. The last part is about choices, whether they be professional or personal. Accepting a leadership positioning, writing to share ideas and research, and collaborating with other professionals can open a wide stage of experience for you. With occupation and your solid foundation, genuine self-knowledge, the ability to laugh at your own foibles, and if we can't do that, we're in a bad way, spiritual nurturance, lifelong learning, and the courage to be great and to dare to be great, you will be. I look forward to seeing the many meaningful contributions you will make to our profession and the betterment of our healthcare system. I am so proud of each of you. Thank you.
And I will say that Nancy McCrae's legacy lives on, that the auction that these folks will be putting on is called the McCrae Meaningful Occupations Auction. And that is really the legacy of Nancy McCrae. So we're going to be really careful and make that really meaningful. All right, now it's time for the ceremony. I'll have the officers come up.
By appearing before us, you have signified your desire to become a member of Pi Theta Epsilon. Each of you should understand fully the meaning of its name, its purposes, and its ideal. Pi is the first letter in the Greek word for advancement.
Theta is the first letter in the Greek word for therapeutic.
Epsilon is the first letter of the Greek word for occupation.
Therefore, Pi Theta Epsilon stands for Advancement in Occupational Therapy.
The purpose of the Honor Society will be to recognize and encourage scholastic excellence in occupational therapy students, to contribute to the advancement of the field of occupational therapy through scholarly activities, and to provide a vehicle for professional entry-level students enrolled in accredited programs in occupational therapy to exchange information and to collaborate regarding scholarly activities.
Pi Theta Epsilon strives to instill in its members the ideal of respect for learning and commitment to scholarship throughout one's professional life.
By inviting you to join us, we have conferred upon you an honor and an obligation. The honor is in recognition of your integrity, your high standards of scholarship, and the promise of your future as one of achievement. In accepting the invitation to become a member of this honor society, you have taken upon yourself the obligation to devote your efforts to the advancement of occupational therapy through scholarship and research, and to the maintenance of the high standards of Pi Theta Epsilon.
All right, so will the first row of new members please stand and come up when your name is called. And mentors, the first four are here, please come to the podium to introduce your inductee.
Lily Noble Grosjean will advocate, be authentic, and bring client-centered practice to the profession of occupational therapy.
Caitlin O'Connell is dedicated to the promotion of dignity and independence through words, actions, and connection.
Siobhan McConnell hopes to bring the perfect balance of science, compassion, and creativity to the profession of occupational therapy.
Kylie Copeland will bring creativity, client-centeredness, and a smile to occupational therapy practice.
Jessica Beland hopes to bring compassion and advocacy for increased inclusion into the profession of occupational therapy.
Elizabeth Banville hopes to bring compassion, patience, and joy to the profession of occupational therapy.
Kyle Borges wishes to bring empathy and compassion through client-centered practice in occupational therapy.
Emma Canducci will bring authenticity, curiosity, and a commitment to collaborative growth.
Juliana Gilmartin hopes to bring joy, compassion, and creativity to the occupational therapy profession. Alyssa Hall will instill hope into her clients and joy into the profession.
Christina McLaughlin hopes to bring empathy, humor, and hope to the profession of occupational therapy.
Ralph Mextra will bring a fresh and innovative lens that helps own the profession.
Matthew Pearson will provide a daily drive to facilitate occupational engagement and overall wellness.
Hannah Reedman hopes to bring compassion and a collaborative skill set to the profession.
Ellen Swedzinski will bring empathy and the practice of generous attention to occupational therapy.
Emily T. Wilson will use compassion and cherish moments toward success.
We are completing the requirements of an education. We are learning how to learn. The real education is just beginning. The application and broadening of knowledge, testing our interest and diligence in our work. We are challenged today and in every coming day to go beyond the requirements of an education, to continue to learn for the knowledge and growth it brings to us, and to help others meet their needs to the best of our abilities. Excellence in purpose and scholarship is the key to opportunity and carries with it vast rewards to ourselves and others. This honor society, Pi Theta Epsilon, challenges us for excellence.
As Pi Theta members, we strive to promote scholarship and research in occupational therapy. Our chapter is unique in the tradition of holding the McCrae Meaningful Occupation Auction, geared toward raising money and awareness of occupational therapy on campus and in the community. The money will go to a national initiative called the St. Catherine's Challenge that supports occupational therapy through targeted areas of research needed in the profession.
Will all new, current, honorary members and alumni please stand and join us in repeating the pledge after me? The pledge is in your pamphlet. All right. Aware of the high calling of the scholar. Aware of the high calling of the scholar. And the great opportunity of service through occupational therapy. And the great opportunity of service through occupational therapy. I, Erica. Hereby pledge my efforts to further the purposes. Hereby pledge my efforts to further the purposes. And to uphold the ideal of Pi Theta Epsilon. And to uphold the ideal of Pi Theta Epsilon. And to prove myself a worthy member of this honor society. And to prove myself a worthy member of this honor society.
As members of Pi Theta Epsilon, the light of knowledge and the warmth of your compassion will carry you through your journey as occupational therapists.
You have repeated the words of a pledge. The honor of this is held within you. You can carelessly toss it aside, or you can make it a meaningful part of your studies and outside activities. What you decide will influence the other members of your honor society and others outside your honor society. It becomes then your responsibility to integrate the pledge you have taken and fulfill the goals you are able. In this way, the integrity of this organization, members past and present, and occupational therapy itself will be strengthened and maintained. Please be seated.
And now I have the honor of introducing our very own program director of the UNE Occupational Therapy Program, the very scholarly and client-centered Chris Winston.
Keep this short and sweet so we can celebrate. But I just wanted to say to all of our new inductees and our returning members that it's definitely an honor to be even a small part of your journey towards your occupational therapy career, and I look forward to hearing about what you do and where you end up practicing and all of those different things. As I was last year, I continue to be inspired by each of your statements. And those of you know me well in terms of my love of 3x5 index cards, right? So I encourage you to write your statement on an index card or something else that's more inspiring to you, and put it somewhere where you can see it, where you can read it on a regular basis so that you can really think about, how do I want to put this statement into practice? What does this really mean for me as an OT and as my career moves forward? So I strongly encourage, and you can send me a picture of wherever you put it, and I would be really happy to see where that goes. So again, I want to congratulate you all on this amazing accomplishment. We're very proud of you and look forward to seeing the things that come. And I just want to say thank you to family and friends who are here with us and who have joined us via the World Wide Web. And to just give you the opportunity to visit and celebrate and appreciate what you've accomplished. Congratulations.
So before we bring this ceremony to a close, I would like to recognize each of our guest speakers by giving them a rose as a token of our appreciation for supporting Pi Theta Epsilon. Thank you again for joining us. I invite all family, friends, and new members to remain in here and celebrate your accomplishments by enjoying some light refreshments, and also invite the Pi Theta Epsilon members to stay for pictures as well. Thank you for joining us this evening.
And it looks like we have a few roses left, so I would like to honor and hear some applause for really outstanding officers. President Lauren Bartholomew. Vice President Erica White. Secretary Allison Sillen. And Treasurer Hannah Coleus. Thank you.
And finally, a rose for Dr. Kate Lucas. And